Let's bring in now Jason Greenblatt. He is a former White House Middle East envoy. Jason, thank you so much for being with us. I'd like to start with that latest information we just heard from Robert Sherman there saying from the IDF that these latest two hostages released are outside of that agreement. So what does that actually mean and why would that be happening?
It's unusual. It's the first time I'm hearing it. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that hopefully even more hostages will be released if Israel's understanding is correct. But I don't know specifically why they were released separately from the group of hostages that we hope will be released today.
You know, and Jason, something I think we need to keep focusing on is this process of reacclimation, because we are talking about people, some of them children, who are now being released after weeks of being held hostage. You know, they're coming back many times to nothing, and that includes family members, because many of their family members were killed, sometimes happening in front of them, in front of the hostages.
Oh, it's a horrific situation. I mean, first of all, how they were treated in captivity, the trauma, the physical trauma, the emotional trauma, the mental trauma. I mean, I'm glad in the clip just before I came on, I saw that the group that was just released have serious issues, but nothing grave. But these hostages are going to be recuperating for a very long time, as will their loved ones, to the extent their loved ones are still alive.
You know, and I also want to talk about another key thing coming out today. Hamas saying that 3 hostages, a mother and her 2 children, are dead, claiming it's the result of Israel's bombing. We know the IDF, though, has not confirmed this. Do we know if this is reliable and if other hostages potentially met this same fate?
You know, I don't trust Hamas at all. We had the same case with Emily Hand. She was supposedly dead. She's not. We're praying that these 3 are still alive. Hamas likes to play with Israel's emotions, with the world's emotions. This is what they do. They're terrorists. They're heartless terrorists. But I don't have any information, and I just pray that the news is not true.
You know, Jason, do you think that this temporary truce will, in fact, be extended for at least another day, maybe more?
It sounds like it is. You know, Israel has several missions here. One is to release the hostages. The other is to decimate Hamas. And the third, of course, is figuring out how this will never happen again. And it's a tough balance that they have to make. But if they have the opportunity to get these hostages released without putting the state of Israel in danger, I think it's the right decision. And of course, none of us have any of the inside information that the cabinet has, that the intelligence services has. I'm sure these are agonizing meetings that they have, but I do hope that more hostages do get released.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to what you just said there, the goal of decimating Hamas. Prime Minister Netanyahu, has made no bones about it. That is absolutely his goal. But once fighting does resume, if in fact it does resume, and again, it's supposed to be resuming according to Netanyahu at full force, do you think, though, that's going to be possible because there is so much pressure, so much international pressure, so much growing pressure every day to make this a permanent ceasefire?
I can't see how Israel agrees to a permanent ceasefire. First of all, nothing is permanent when you deal with Hamas or organizations, terror organizations like Hamas. Let's remember there was a ceasefire in place on October 6th. So despite the world's pressure that may come to bear on Israel, it's not going to be the first time. I think Israel has a choice of kill or be killed. I think they have to go through this mission. It's a very, very tall order. I don't know if they'll be able to succeed completely, but I do hope the United States and countries like the United States stick with Israel and push back on the pressure, because no country in the world would tolerate what happened to Israel and not do what Israel's doing. Anyone who says otherwise is lying.
You know, and Jason, before we let you go, you are the former White House Middle East envoy. I just want to talk about the American hostages. Do you think we will see more American hostages released?
You know, I certainly hope so. I think Hamas knows how valuable they are, and I think they're using that again to their own advantage. Everything they do is strategic. Everything they do is to gain something out of whoever it is that they're negotiating with. But as a proud American, I certainly hope every one of those hostages, and especially the Americans, come home really quickly.
All right, Jason Greenblatt, certainly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.